Buenos dias, straight out of Medellín, Colombia, where we're going to have a Cosmos event next week, by the way, July 26th. If you are in Medellín and you want to join us, join me, hang out, and also learn from some Cosmos builders, then you have to come to this event. This is going to be a full day event. We start at 12. We have a presentation by myself and Daniel from Keychain, who are also sponsoring and hosting this event. We also have Nena from Nolos, and some other people there, also maybe some people from Parachain. So if you're in Medellin, please check that out. I think it makes a lot of sense to be there. And also, if you've never been to Medellin, then this is a great opportunity and reason to visit. In other news, we also are just a bit over 3 months away from Cosmoverse, the largest ecosystem conference of the interchain. And I'm saying interchain because our continued theme since last year is actually to further branch out and synergize more and more with the non-Cosmos native ecosystem. Because in the end of the day, the end vision for Cosmos is to actually evolve into the interchain, which in the end of the day is just a synonym for crypto, right? This is all about sovereignty and interoperability, and eventually every single chain will become part of the interchain. At least that is the fundamental conviction and fundamental mission that we're on as cosmonauts. This year, we'll also have a big innovation, which is the introduction of Cosmoverse tracks. And tracks basically provide you as an attendee, but also all sponsors, speakers, and everyone, a more custom event experience. Because to be honest, what most big conferences have in common is that it's just a very general crypto audience. And everyone is just trying to shill each other, even though they're in completely different verticals and there's zero overlap, and they just shill each other and go from one person to the next person to the next person. And that makes it very inefficient and unproductive. So what we're doing is basically we're segmenting the conference experience into verticals. There are some more verticals that are more on the infrastructure and technical side of things, like modularity, like restaking, for example, EVM as well, right? ZK, which also includes privacy and scalability, but also more consumer or business-oriented real-world tracks, like the tokenization track or real-world assets, the AI track, and gaming and NFTs. There's going to be a lot more tracks. Those are just the first ones. And if you're a project and want to become part of this sponsor, you can fill out this form. And if you are an attendee, then you need to bookmark Cosmoverse, the website, because general admission tickets are going to go live on July 22nd, so on Monday. Now, this is all about Cosmoverse and Cosmos Medellin, which is happening next week. This event is totally free to attend, by the way. You only have to register and then you have to be approved. Then also, I want to talk about the Cito Zone. I talked about it the other day as we just launched a Cito Earn campaign together with Aleph. But I basically want to share with you two things. Number one, if you're part of any crypto community, and I hear a lot of comments from you guys, Cito, you're not covering my projects, the coins I'm holding. Why are you not talking about them? They're part of Cosmos. You don't talk about my bags enough. Well, I have great news for you, because you can take the steering wheel into your own hands. You can come here, submit your content, and you can fill out this form. And this form basically enables you to post content on our website, on the Cito Zone. This is an absolutely free feature that you can use. You just have to answer some questions, fill out this form, and drop your content piece. And if you're approved, then your content will be featured on the Cito Zone. Make sure it's educational, make sure it has value, make sure it is also readable, it is also appealing, and then you got featured on the Cito Zone. Also, we have this new feature, like I said. This is, by the way, the best place. If you are not too active on Twitter, then you just come here and you get all the information. We have plugins for X content from all the major Cosmos projects that is getting automatically distributed here. We also create our own content. So Sepmos and Litang from my team, my research and content team, they are posting amazing content here on the Cito Zone. The Cosmos Hub Endgame, for example, which is a fantastic read and a recap of a recent interview by Jehan Tremback on a podcast. Then we also have this campaign here for the Cito Earn tab, which is going to be its own product, basically. And in our first campaign, you can win up to $200 in A0 tokens. There's going to be 3 winners. And all you need to do is post your submission on Twitter and also use the hashtag #CitoEarn. Then you also need to tag Aleph0. Keep in mind that they have 2 underscores on their Twitter profile. And then you also need to fill out this Google form. That's about it. That's all you have to do. Post your link here. Just share with us what this content is all about. make sure that you did that, and you're good to go. It's very, very easy. Probably the easiest $200 or $100 that you will ever earn. Just spend some time, do your research, write a nice piece of content that's also engaging, that's readable, that people want to read, that people are getting excited about, that people are getting educated by, and you should be good. Now, switching gears, let's talk about crypto macro environment. We have some big news about political stuff, but also about just general business stuff, right? Stripe, for example, that is now going to enable Bitcoin purchases with credit and debit cards in Europe. And this is all primed now for probably one of the biggest bull runs we're ever going to see. And we're just now seeing liquidity gates being opened up. And I remember the time between the Terra collapse in 2022 in May and the FTX collapse in November, that in this phase, there was nothing in sight that would give any hope for new liquidity gates, for fresh capital to come in, right? We just had to sit that through. We just had to sit through these times. But now we're seeing one liquidity gate after the other. And we're seeing this from the business world, but we're also seeing this from the political world, right? We're seeing the SEC also changing their tone. They approved the Ethereum ETF against all odds, which is, by the way, also going to start trading next Tuesday. So we're literally days away from the Ethereum ETF to also start trading. I talked about that more in a recent video. But this is great for European customers and also just for the onboarding rails into crypto. On the other hand, we also see now progress in the distribution for Mt. Gox victims. Over a decade ago, this exchange got hacked, and Mt. Gox is now distributing around $9 billion to affected victims. So this is something that, especially in the short term, could cause a bit of a sell-off, not only because of the sell-off itself. We're seeing now that the first funds have actually been distributed now to Kraken, and this is also officially confirmed from Kraken. So the distribution itself is happening, but also this whole fear and panic around the fact that Mt. Gox is unlocking and distributing all these billions in dollars, and that's going to tank the price. And just that rumor tanks the price, right? Because people are selling off. But it's also true that we saw these rumors really pick up 2 weeks ago already, around also the time when the German government sold off their BTC. So I'm not sure if that's priced in or not, but in any case, I think the faster this gets done with, the faster this gets distributed back to the victims, of which I also believe that the majority is probably not going to sell either at all, or at least just very low amounts, because those people are probably filthy rich anyways, because they've been around for 12 years in Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, that's my theory. I also saw polls basically confirming that thesis, but we have to wait and see how this is going to affect the price. You can also track that here on chain, of course. These wallets are all on chain. Mt. Gox now only has 5.7 billion left in their wallets after this record here of around 10 billion just a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, we have to wait and see. Nothing we can just do about it now. I also don't think this is a smart trade to do now, because we don't really know what's going to happen. Then we also have some other rumors around Donald Trump to potentially consider Jamie Dimon, who is the CEO at JP Morgan, as the Treasury Secretary. And to be honest, that would be super bearish in my view if he did that, and totally contrary to what he promised as being the crypto president, because this guy is definitely not a crypto and Bitcoiner at all. He was very, very bearish and bashing against crypto over the years, especially about Bitcoin. He just doesn't get it, or he doesn't want to get it. I don't know. But I don't know if he changed his tune. I have no idea if that is true. I think at the Davos event a couple of months ago, he was still talking really bad about crypto. So I think it would not be as bullish if he became the Treasury Secretary. But it just also confirms what I talked about in last videos. You know, we have to wait and see the actions of Trump once he gets into office, if he wins the election, of course, if he also backs up with actions and execution what he's been promising to the crypto community. Then we also have an interesting chart from the stablecoin market cap. And we're seeing that we've been on a rise here ever since Q3, Q4 2023, since last year. Around a year ago, we started climbing back up with stablecoin market cap after being down only for around 2 years. And this also, by the way, marked the bull run peak around this time in late Q4 2021 and early Q2 2022. And this might be an indication that we have bottomed out. The market is now also getting more and more liquidity inflows. So we also have more battle-tested stablecoin assets like Tether, USDC that also got the Mika license. And we're seeing also PayPal with their stablecoin, which is totally not talked about by anybody, and kind of a thing that's just kind of not that hot, even though it's actually major news. Looking at Bitcoin ETF flows, we're seeing another green day, 53 million, not that much to be honest, after 400, 300 million, so over $1 billion in the 3 days before that. But at least we're having a green day. And I think now everyone is waiting and excited for the Ethereum spot ETF to start trading next Tuesday. Looking more specific into the Cosmos ecosystem, we've seen a little bit of a setback today, small setback, I guess, across the board, also Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins in general. But yeah, overall, nothing much has happened. The biggest winner here today, Sommelier Som, 14%, but very thin liquidity volumes and just a very, very tiny market cap. Dimension back above $2, Quasar 7% up today, Omniflix as well, and so on and so forth. So few winners, but yeah, a lot of losers, as in they have given away their gains from the past couple days. Now, I briefly mentioned a discussion Jehan Tremback had with 0x Research in terms of the Cosmos Hub endgame, which is on our website, but we also made a full-on thread recap about that on Twitter. Basically, how the Cosmos Hub is evolving into the best place to launch a chain. And he really talks a lot about the evolution for shared security, the elevator pitch for the Cosmos Hub, and also launchpad services around security, because security is one thing, but also airdrop services, liquidity, bootstrapping, all these kind of things, which is also where Hydro comes in. These are all very, very important things. And this post recaps all of that. And also, we're having an overview here of the consumer chains. We already know that Neutron and Stride are currently live. We have Aether, which is an EVM hub, also Illis Network, Lorenzo Protocol, which is a Bitcoin L2 optimized also for liquid staking and also uses Babylon. Then we also have Cycles, which is a project by Informal Systems, and also Landslide, which is an AVAX hub. And then also we have a lot more proposals and ideas floating around, like Comdex, which is focused on RWAs. We also have Picasso Network now that just dropped a draft proposal to join the Atom Economic Zone, and also FMOS, which is also an EVM hub and also has a lot of interesting clients and users in their ecosystem. So I really recommend you to read that through. Personally, I think the technical roadmap on the Cosmos Hub is the strongest it's probably ever been, ever since it launched. And I think, you know, if this promise really gets filled, that the Cosmos Hub becomes the first AVS, the first chain to implement Babylon after Babylon itself to connect with their Bitcoin staking protocol, that I think would be a massive value proposition. And I think people would then wake up and like, wait a minute, how did that happen? How did the Cosmos Hub suddenly become one of the most secure and interesting places and innovative shared security chains in crypto? So this is very interesting. Also, this affects Atom's value accrual and its whole positioning. Jehan also talked a lot about rollups and what's brewing there, because they also talked about this a couple of months ago, also in context of mega blocks. So I strongly, strongly recommend you to read through this thread and also to listen to Jehan's interview. And now please also provide your feedback to Picasso's proposal to onboard as an Atom secured chain. This is something that also will accrue value to the Cosmos Hub. They're also proposing some parameters here to cap the amount of validators, for example, to 10 that would be able to opt in and secure Picasso, and also some incentive models here around a token allocation, 20% of the Pika staking rewards. I think the inflation right now is at around 7%, reduced IBC fees, revenue sharing, and some other things. So check that out. Also, Atom as gas, that would also be very nice. Then we also have Gaia V18. Version 18 is now live on the Cosmos Hub, and that brings a couple of innovations, one of which, and the biggest one, is obviously permission CosmWasm is now on the Cosmos Hub. That is also something that would have been unthinkable a year ago. But also expedited software proposals, which basically cuts the time for software proposals to be on the Cosmos Hub governance for voting from 14 days into 7 days, as far as I know. So this means much faster deployment for software upgrades, and that is overall just making the Cosmos Hub a lot more competitive on all ends. Next, we also have some big news from Akash Network. So Akash Network has a partner called Brev, and Brev has now been acquired by Nvidia. And Brev is not only a partner of Akash Network, but actually the primary network client, and they've been collaborating for many years. Gregor Zur is also an angel investor into Brev, I think. And Brev utilizes the Akash Supercloud to access high-performance GPUs. So that means now, technically, that Nvidia is actually the biggest client and partner of Akash Network after this acquisition. And also I saw some tweets of the Brev CEO basically saying, we love the Akash community. We're super close and fully aligned with you guys. So this is very, very bullish for Akash. And sticking with Akash, we also did a full-on AKT tokenomics guide, where we not only talked about the inflation parameters and all these kind of things, but also the token utility, value accrual mechanism, token distribution and unlocks and supply schedule, investors and funding, and also take rates, and also some of the kind of concerns that we have in the longer run, and maybe some of the proposals and thoughts on how things should be fixed or could be fixed, and eventually also will be fixed in the future. But this is a very interesting read, and I strongly recommend you to go through that post. Also, big news on Osmosis. The trading experience just got 100 times better. One-click trading is now live on Osmosis Zone. And the way you enable this feature is by clicking on your profile, clicking on one-click trading, enabling that. Then you have to sign a transaction. You can put your loss protection limit and also your session period up to 12 hours, minimum is 5 minutes. So when you have a trading session where you need to do a couple of transactions or want to trade a little bit, restructuring your portfolio, whatever you want to do, then you can do that without always having to approve a transaction. So this massively improves the user experience on Osmosis and makes it one of the best DEXs in all crypto, in my view. And I constantly said that Osmosis, in the end of the day, they shouldn't try to do everything perfectly and 10 things at a time, but they should focus on core things, maybe 1 or 2. I hope they are really sticking to their core mission and roots and not try to chase 10 narratives at a time. Then also news, I want to share 3 testnets and then also 3 airdrop reminders. Number 1, testnet, number 1, Mantra OM. They are now in their season 2 for their Genesis drop. The Mantra chain is going to go live in a couple of months, and you have now the chance to get an airdrop by just engaging with the testnet. All you got to do here is come on the mantra.zone, connect your Leap, and you can get started. You can also do it with Kepler, but I think Leap works better and has more integrations. So do that, number 1. Number 2, Initia, I talked about it. Now part 2 is also live, the part 2 of the testnet. This is the final step before mainnet. So go get your Jenny leveled up and also participate here in their testnet quests. In that context, we also have Milky Way, which currently resides on Osmosis, but is going to migrate and become an Initia rollup, a Minitia, once Initia is on mainnet. And Milky Way is going to be the modular staking portal. I also, by the way, placed a small private investment into Milky Way. Milk in it is also now live on testnet. And this is also going to be the first liquid staking token LST for the init token by Initia. And you can also come here and earn points and probably also get some milk. Now, the 3 airdrop reminders real quick. Number 1, Lava Network. They actually just extended the airdrop claim until Sunday, 6 a.m. UTC. All you got to do is come here on claims.lavanet.xyz. I'm going to leave the link under this video. Check your rewards and claim your airdrop. Number 2, Saga expires in 4 days. You can come here now as well, claim your Vault 3 airdrop and a couple of NFTs from their ecosystem projects, and bookmark that site because there's always going to be more and more airdrops. And the same counts for Stride. Come here, check this page every now and then, bookmark this page as well because there's constantly going to be airdrops. By the way, if you've been farming STTR here to earn Stride tokens, then you will be able to claim that in 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks and 1 day. We made a video about this the moment this went live, so you've been aware of this since the very early days, and this massively boosted your STTR APR. So distribution or claiming for the STRD token rewards is starting very soon. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. You learned something. Crypto is going to do fine. Don't give up. Don't surrender. Don't drag yourself into this negative thinking about, oh, this cycle is different. We're all doomed. We're all going to zero. This will never pump. That will never pump. We're going to have a bull run. We're going to have massive liquidity inflows. Everything will pump. Everyone will make money. And it's just going to be great times that are ahead of us. I think a lot of people are now not able to imagine that those times will still come because everything is so negative now. But I'm very positive. I'm very excited about what the next 6 to 8 months are going to bring. I don't think we have to wait another year or 2. I think especially leading up with this election campaign, this election race, where crypto is already on their radar, is going to be very interesting. That said, I hope you're engaging and active also on the Cito Zone website. Stay safe, my friends. I'm going to see you very soon here on Crypto Cito. Until then, stay safe and be good.